Well, welcome back to the We Live It podcast, live here at Cooper's Barbecue on this fine Thursday morning. We got about 20,000 head of cattle to sell today. It's starting this morning at 9 o'clock, so tune in on live-ag.com or our YouTube channel to watch that. Got a lot of good feeder cattle from throughout the country, a lot of good grazing cattle, several cattle, good light cattle in Nebraska and Wyoming up through there. Got a lot of good beef dairy cross light calves coming on today from weighing 400, and then some go back up towards Indiana and that way. We got some 7-weights throughout there. We had a really, really nice offering of registered Angus cows on this afternoon to sell right after lunch today. Tune into that. That's a really good set of cows there. You don't want to miss those. So just a very good offering of right around 20,000 head of cattle today. So like I said, the sale starts at 9 o'clock. But starting off here today, Casey's not with us today. He had to be in San Antonio. His kids are showing hogs down there, so maybe we'll get a report later on the day on how they're getting along. They had a very successful Fort Worth last week. I think his oldest daughter was second in her class, so they had a really good week. My daughters both made the sale there with their steers. Tyler was 7th in the heavyweight Angus, and Peyton was 7th in the Class 9 exotic. So here with me today, I have the opportunity to talk to Mary Russell with Higginbotham and Barry Cooper with Cooper's Barbecue. They were both there and blessed our kids there last week at the stock show, and we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that, on how y'all got involved, what that means to y'all, and just. But first of all, give us a little back. We've had Barry on before talking about the barbecue and all, and what he's done, his background, and how he grew up in the industry. But Mary, we've never had you on yet. So kind of fill us in on your background and where you come from and what y'all do and what y'all do at Higginbotham.
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to come visit with you. So Mary Russell, I've been at Higginbotham for 36 years now. Insurance agency. Our home office is Fort Worth, but we got a heavy footprint across the southeast part of the United States. Born and raised a Texan, originally El Paso, moved here, Fort Worth, with my high school sweetheart, and he was in the Air Force, and we decided we loved Fort Worth. We raised our family. My family actually goes back. We were ranchers. My family was Tandy, and they had a big old ranch up in the Panhandle. So didn't come into my family level for years, and then my son Trevor, who's in the business with me, decided one day he wanted to raise steers, and I went, I know where this came from. It's in your blood, you just don't know it. Anyway, my role at Higginbotham, I head up the personal insurance side for customers as well as the farm and ranch, and got in that. When I started at Higginbotham, loved working with the individual clients on their needs. And, of course, being here in Texas, the opportunity to work with a lot of people. Farms, ranches are their primary homes. They're not just a commercial, business all the time. So that got me started. And then through the years, Higginbotham, I'll go into the stock show. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. How we got involved there, one of my partners at Higginbotham, William Blanchard, was on the syndicate that actually coordinates people to come buy these the livestock from the kids that participate, and came to me one year and said, would you want to come and donate some money and let's buy something? And absolutely. I went to my first auction years ago, or the first sale, and I got so excited. I haven't missed one since. So I love the connection. I love seeing those fine young people. That there's a lot of work that goes into raising these animals, a lot of time, commitment, and their families. It's also one of those that I learned with Trevor. He had that steer, but you know how much time our family spent at the barn together. And so the whole world of raising an animal, caring for it, was a whole new adventure for our family, doing a big steer like old heifer here, as opposed to just a pet around the house, a dog. So love that. Love coming back every year. Higginbotham bought for the first time 4 years ago. We bought the Grand Champion. Mm-hmm. We have our individual producers step up and, I want to put some money in the hat and let's go see what we can buy. And we decided we were going to do, on our 75th anniversary, we were going to buy the Grand Champion. So we bought Snoop Dogg that year. Snoop Dogg was our steer, and just loved it. And you know what? The young lady that won that, her family, we've stayed in touch. We had her come speak at one of our Higginbotham events, and just to hear how much it had changed her life and the experience. And here's a small world story. This year we were there at the auction, as you know, and her family was there. Her younger brother came up to Rusty Reed, our CEO, and he said, I don't know if you remember me, but my sister, you bought her steer, and it was Snoop Dogg. And Rusty said, I remember you. What are you doing? He said, well, I'm not at her level yet, but in about 2 years, I'm going to be back here, and I'm going to be. And Rusty said, you know what? That's going to be our 80th anniversary, so we're going to be looking for you. You better be here. That's right. And, you know, in a few more years, that till just keeps growing with those grand champions. So we look forward to seeing him and whoever's there in the future. But this year, I was so excited. Both your girls made it, and we were just when you have somebody that you know personally, and you know how hardworking and just good folks, and they were so proud. Those girls.
I turned around there after Tyler come through, and y'all took the picture, and I grabbed the steer and was walking around the back, and I turned around. And I might choke up talking about this. You and her were hugged up crying with each other because that steer she loved. And just seeing you do that with her, it's
I'm going to tear up. Now you stop.
But pretty good stuff. You can't beat that.
No. So it's personal. And for us, it's to continue watching and going, what's she doing? What's she going to do next? And so I just love the opportunity, but I love more in what the people that I met. Look who I got to meet this year. I was tickled to death because I went, he's right here in Fort Worth. Of course, I'm having barbecue, don't you know? Yep. And I went, I love this. Here's a new person. Here's a new friend. And right here in Fort Worth, and you can probably tell by looking at me that I like to eat. So, always a good friend who's got a good place for me to come eat.
And it's and go back into it, how it's such a blessing for all of what y'all all do and to the kids. But the story that the next story we'll get into is how Barry. I mean, I've known Barry since we've been coming here doing all these sales, and most of the time when we talk about kids, we're talking about sports. Like Jason talks about his kids in baseball and the stuff they do, and then Barry and them are big in tennis because they're from Mason, and Mason's got a big tennis program. So I talked to Barry about my oldest daughter playing tennis, and really never even talked about showing the steers and stuff. So I'm sitting down there visiting with Trevor, getting kind of ready for Tyler to come in and sell. Well, somebody grabs me by the back of my neck and says, you can't be down here. And I'm like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. And I turn around and it's Barry. So we go to talking. He said, well, I didn't know your kids even showed steers. I'm like, well, yeah, they both got steers in the sale. He said, well, we never talk about that. We always talk about tennis. So we visit for a little bit, and then about 5 minutes later, he comes back up and he said, which one of the girls plays tennis? So I tell him and bring him down there and introduce everybody to him, and he grabs Peyton up, and they go up there and talk to the women,
Women's Steering
Businesses Committee, and he takes Peyton right up there to the front row and go to talk to them. Well, they just all hit it off, and I'm like, this is all a God thing. I mean, God will put you in the right places at the right time, and if you'll just listen to him and abide by him, he'll lead all of that. And it was so phenomenal to see it all together, and my kids be able to visit with y'all and with that group of ladies. And so Barry, tell us kind of how you got involved I mean, y'all have been helping out there for a long time, and just kind of.
Well, I think it goes all the way back to the roots. So born and raised in Llano, Texas, and started showing barrows when I was in the 3rd grade. So either 8 or in the 3rd grade you could start. Mm-hmm. So showed bears all through school, all the way till I was a senior. Showed steers as a junior and senior, and so was part of the program. And one of my lifelong mentors was my county agent, John Kirkendall. We lost him years ago, but John was a huge influence on me and my career. So much so that when I came out of grad school, my first job, I was a county extension agent because I wanted to be John Kirkendall.
There you go.
And that was too big a shoes to fill. But so. Got into it at an early age, and then in college I was on a livestock judging team, and then I coached the livestock judging team, and then I got involved with judging shows, and then I was the swine superintendent of Fort Worth. I was an official at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo from 1987 until 2017. So I either superintendent and or a judge or an official. I judged a bunch of shows, and then obviously got in the auction business. I started buying steers. I took a time out from the family business and was in the corporate world for 18 years, and I was in Fort Worth. So I bought my first steer in Fort Worth in 1989, and so it was a number of years there. Then I moved off, and then I came back to Fort Worth in 2000, and in 2000 I judged the swine breeding show at Fort Worth. And then I got back involved, and then once we launched Cooper's, then it became natural to be a participant with the Fort Worth Stock Show as Cooper's Old Tom Pit Barbecue, not the corporate guy anymore, and we've been buying steers and or pigs or something ever since.
Man, that's just neat how it all comes full circle. You know, you did it as a kid, and you come back around to it, and now you're supporting them. I mean, Trevor did it as a young man, and now y'all are back around here supporting them, and we can't thank y'all as parents of these kids for continuing to support that way of life in this industry that we're all in and that we all love, because they are the future of this industry. I mean, to continue it on, we have to raise them in that aspect, in that way, because we interviewed a young lady today for a job, and she grew up in the livestock business. She grew up showing cattle, and you could tell it. You could tell the work ethic that she has, the responsibility she has, because she kind of interned for us over the summer, so we already knew how hard she'd work. She'd be on time. She'd get up early. She'd stay late. It's just the way they're raised. And for y'all to pour into those kids like that and bless them with monetary, bless them so they can go on to do their college stuff and go wherever they want to go to get that education, we can't thank y'all enough for doing that. I mean, I know y'all do it. Y'all don't do it for that. Y'all don't do it for the thanks. Y'all do it because that's what y'all want to do, and y'all know that's right. But we as parents and leaders of the industry, we can't thank y'all enough for pouring into this industry, and that's what y'all are doing. Y'all are blessing them so we can keep them going.
Well, I think I'm going to counter you just a little bit. I think we to a large extent we do it because we know what kind of kids they are, and we look for those kind of kids. And frankly, we hear so much bad in the world all the time, and you see the bad news all the time, and then you run across these kids showing livestock, and it doesn't matter what barn you're in, and they're looking you in the eye, and they're saying, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. They have manners. They say thank you. And you say, man, I feel refreshed about the youth in America and about some of the ones that are left, because in the business I'm in, we have thousands of people walk through our doors every week, and I see a lot of kids that you just don't want to be around. Yeah. And you get to a stock show world, and so oftentimes you find these small town kids or big town kids or inner city kids in some of these chapters. Yeah. And you say, man, this is pretty cool. They're learning some things. They're doing some things. Ag's a lot bigger than it was in my day in the ag sciences world with FFA. And you just want to be around those kind of kids because they're giving a little extra effort. They're trying. It's not only the time in the barns. And then where else do you go anymore where all the families involved together? Just like she talked about being in the barn with Trevor and what that was like. Well, now you see these families, and you know, a week ago, I didn't know you had two kids that showed steers, and I never met your wife. Now I feel like I'm part of the family.
Exactly.
That's how it works.
You know, you're talking about your county agent, the one that you've idolized, and we all go through that stage. I had one that we loved. He hauled me and my brother everywhere. Donald Kim. You probably heard of Donald Kim. He's pretty high up in the whole deal now. And then, just like my girls, I text. We had a FFA teacher that really takes them under their wing, and then we had a county agent. He was there till 2 years ago. Probably he stepped into a different role, but I mean he molded them kids, and that's they kind of helped raise them. And I text that FFA teacher on the way home from Fort Worth the other day and just thanked him for what he's done and the inputs he put in our kids. And the same thing with Groski. He was our other county agent. I mean the teachings that they teach our kids too, and the outpouring that they do, we don't give them thanks enough neither, because I mean it's just everybody's busy. But I want to shout out to all those county agents, those FFA teachers too, because they keep our kids going, and they pour into them, and they treat them like their own. And man, it's just a big circle. It's great stuff.
Yeah, it's funny. I've looked back because we had two ag teachers or FFA instructors too, still Mr. Wessels and Mr. Russell. Remember them just like yesterday because they were also big influences. Yeah. But in my time, you didn't only know the ag teachers and the county agents in your county, you knew all the ones around you. And as we hauled down the road, you shared hotel rooms with these people, you competed with them in the ring, and then lo and behold, what happens? You get off to college, and then you're running into somebody you met in the stock show world, or you're rooming with somebody, or you're on a livestock judging team with somebody that you competed against, or you're on one team and they're on another team because they're at Texas Tech University or at Oklahoma State or wherever they might be. So the circle just kind of continues to expand, and it never really goes away.
Well, just like I explained to Peyton the other day when she come down there and met with you and then met with all those ladies, I said, you don't know the doors that all that can open for you in the future, because she does probably going to end up going to Texas A&M or try to go to Texas A&M. They can open a door there. When you get there, or when you get out of there, they're going to be they're going to know you. You're going to be able to talk to them, and they can open doors for you in business and the things you want to do in life. And just like you and with Tyler, and I was like telling her, I mean, don't know what aspect of the industry you're going to go in, but they know them all. They can open doors for you, and it's not all the time. It's not about what you know. Sometimes it's about who you know, and they respect you, but you got to work to keep that way. But them doors can be open for you that way, and that's what's the networking of it all about. I mean, it was so awesome. I got pictures of both my daughters talking to y'all and introducing, and then you having her up there and talking to y'all, and then I'm like, this will be forever. They'll always remember this, and then y'all will always remember them because they did put an impact, because they come shook your hand, they did talk to you like they're supposed to, like grown-ups, and introduce yourself. And I mean, I love it. I get all fired up about it. So,
well, it's like, it's funny because we talked about the bull story last time. So we have the barber ranch. So I've known them for as long as I can remember, and obviously originally it was Brett and Terry, and Jason and Justin weren't even showing, and then I remember when they started showing, and then they're out and they're running with the breedings, and you have all these guys and all these kids showing, and then forever, like when they're little and they're showing cattle, it's like, I don't know if I'm talking to Jason or I'm talking to Justin. I really don't know which one's which.
You don't know what neither one of them's saying.
Now, right. Yeah, right. and then finally, I mean, they got later in life, and then I think Justin finally got married, so I could look at the wedding ring and say, okay, I got Justin. Jason's not married yet. Now I know them apart, right? And I know their kids, but back in the day, but it goes all the way back to when they were kids and they were stock showing. And then now here we are today with Live Ag and what you do and what Jason does and the whole piece. Yeah. And a Barber Ranch imitation bull sitting on the patio that everybody loves. And here we are, and that's kind of what this thing gives you too,
You bet.
Oh, and let's go into the small world story of Jason Barber.
Yeah.
His son, Cole, plays baseball. He's a little league baseball player, like you connected with their daughter playing tennis. He plays baseball. Who in the world would have known? Trevor coaches Cole.
Yeah.
And just that small world story. So when we met you, here we go. Look at that next degree of separation. And I just go, I love that. The Cattle Raisers Association. Yeah. We work with a lot of the members of the cattle raisers and got to know a lot of good people through there. And they reach out going, so-and-so's made the sale, so-and-so. And they reached out the day before to let us know. And I said, well, do you know Ty's daughters have made it? Oh, my gosh. So you want to talk about, this is a big world, but it's a small world connected by some really good people. We collectively, and you made a very good point. I thought the same thing is, sometimes you hear the bad news all the time and you get discouraged, but by golly, I tell you what, that day, that weekend, being around those kids, it was motivating, it was uplifting, and for me, I'm like, you know what, we've got good folks. The next generation's going to be in good hands. They're going to be fine. So
speaking of cattle raisers, Stephen Deebles was one of the first persons to text me after both the girls made the sale. He shot me a text, said congratulations. He's vice president of cattle raisers.
Yep.
So we showed with their boys for a while there, and they graduated and gone now. But we run down the road with them for quite a bit. But that's a great family too. But yeah, that's just all networking. World? Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's a really small world. The young lady sitting out here running the computer and the sound tells me hello at Cooper's today. Hey, my father-in-law says to tell you hello. I think you know him. And I'm like, who's that? And it's Kevin Newsom. And it's like only since the 80s probably, And it's like, how would I have known that before if she wouldn't have said something? And she just came from a stock show in San Angelo. And there they are. And it's like, once again, that circle kind of closes.
Her and your wife had the same.
Yeah, same degree from Oklahoma State, absolutely. And then, you go back. You really want to go back and dial it back. I mean, I can go back a long ways. But the steers that you guys bought, Snoop Dogg, which was, if I've got my numbers right, that was bred by a guy named Mark Shaw out of Canyon, Texas. That was the breeder of the steer.
Yeah.
And Mark Shaw was on the Oklahoma State University Livestock team in 1983, which is the same year I was on the Livestock team at Angelo State University. So
I mean, we can just tie it all together back and back and back. Yeah.
So we go right back into like You can't make this stuff up.
No, you can't. It's
So-
just I can't thank y'all enough. Kind of wrap up here. Is there any other stories y'all want to share before we go? Or
I got one, but it has to do with pigs, not
That's
cattle.
fine.
But
I
I'd
love-
love to tell it because
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yep.
So we do some work with a group called Band of Bears, which is a group of ladies that buy pigs, right? And it's Whitney Cardwell and Janie Van Zant and some other ladies, Elizabeth Burdick. And anyway, they have some fundraisers here at Cooper's, and they plan their meetings and things here. But when they first started, I didn't know these people at all. And so we're having a meeting in the restaurant, planning their first fundraiser. And lo and behold, one of them's phone rings, and she picks it up and looks at it, and the husband says, that'll just be more bad news. We'll call her back later. And she turns the phone upside down. Okay. Now, this is all about buying pigs at Fort Worth. That's what the fundraiser is for. Put the phone down. We finish the meeting. They go out the door. A little bit later, they're coming back in the door, and the parents, the people, they're crying. The mom and dad, husband and wife. And I'm like, what's the matter? And they're like, nothing's the matter. I said, why are you crying? Because we're happy. Why are you happy? That phone call that we thought was more bad news was the adoptions agency from Granbury saying, we got a baby for you, and it's not just one, it's two, and they'll be here next Thursday.
Oh man.
Those little girls are now 3.5 years old. I call them the Van Zant Tornadoes. And one of these days, they'll be showing pigs, and I'll be sitting right there on the front row. You can bank on it.
Wow.
But it all goes back to the stock show. And this year we bought a pig out of Coleman. When I first came out of school, I was a county agent in Coleman, Texas, like I explained. I hung out in the feed store every day. I didn't know anybody in Coleman. I was single. I'd go to the feed store. Feed store owner today, 40 years later, still friends, calls me the other day, and he says, you going to buy anything at Fort Worth? And I said, well, maybe. He said, would you buy a pig? I said, why? Well, there's a really good kid that you need to look. He's one of our customers, but I'm telling you, he's your kind. Sure enough, go down, meet the kid, all the people in the swine barn. Oh, yeah, that kid's super. He says, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, thank you, appreciative. So the Band of Bears, the twins' parents, and their entourage, and myself, we buy the pig on Saturday morning. And once again, that's kind of a 40-year story. And then with the adoption part, it's just cool as all get out. But that all happened here because of the stock show. And had one of them been a boy, they were going to be named Cooper, but we got two beautiful girls. We got two beautiful girls named Caroline and Colin. So
Oh, that's awesome, man.
yeah,
that.
and so it's just part of it, and everybody that works in here knows the story. And when they show up here, it just brings a smile to your face. But it all goes back to the stock show thing, is what planted that seed and helped make that happen.
Yep. It's
Love that.
it's all a God thing, guys. It's just you can't.
Yeah, you couldn't orchestrate.
No,
this
you could
yourself.
not. No, we couldn't do that. So, once again, cannot thank y'all enough for joining us on here and telling y'all story and helping the youth of this industry doing what y'all do. We can't thank y'all enough for being part of it. So, from the bottom of my heart, from me and my family, thank y'all.
Nope, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate what y'all do too.
Be sure to tune in next Tuesday at 10 a.m. We will have our equipment auction at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. It's live online. Pre-bidding is open. You can get on live-ag.com and go look over the offering for next Tuesday. Also, we've had a change in schedule. Our March sale will be March 20th. It will be in Columbus, Ohio at the Ohio Beef Expo. We will be on grounds there for that. That is March 20th in Columbus, Ohio. The deadline for that sale is March 10th. Thank you, Katie. I keep getting these dates all messed up. But once again, just thank everybody for watching and tuning in to the We Live It podcast. Thank you very much, and God bless.